It has happened. Hello and welcome back to the Jet Press Podcast. My name is Justin Freed, and I'm joined as always by my man Mike Luciano. Mike, Aaron Rodgers has been traded to the New York Jets. It has happened. It's over. The saga is done. Give me your live reaction right now. Go. Aaron Rodgers is a Jet.
I win. How about that? After all of those quarterbacks, God knows how many, Bryce Petty, Josh McCown, Zach Wilson, Mike White, Joe Flacco. We could even roll it back even farther and go to early Geno Smith before he was good.
Sure.
After all of that, it ends with Aaron Rodgers on the New York Jets. We're going to dive in, but first, let's just get the housekeeping out of the way. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever it is that you go get your podcast, you can find us there. You can also go find us on YouTube at the Jet Press. Make sure you subscribe because that way you can get notified. Hit that little bell icon whenever we go live for occasions like this when Aaron Rodgers, future Hall of Famer, still an elite quarterback, gets traded to the New York Jets in a deal that, for all of the posturing that both Jets fans and Packers fans were putting on about who's going to get the better deal and we have leverage, and we could say it now, the leverage moratorium is broken. The deal I thought was fairly equitable for both sides. So Aaron Rodgers is coming to the Jets along with the number 15 pick. So number 15 and number 13 are swapping. Packers move up 2 spots, Jets move down 2 spots. The Jets also get a 5th round pick. One of the 2 second round picks that we thought might go to Green Bay did go to Green Bay, number 42 overall. Number 207 overall, 6th round pick, is also going to Green Bay. The big thing is the conditional 2024 second round pick that will become a first round pick if Aaron Rodgers plays 65% of the plays in 2023, which I imagine he will, barring an act of God. This is deal, for as much angst as there was for both of these sides, but is this going to get done? Where's he going to go? Fairly equitable, fairly fair. The Packers get the potential to add 2 first-round picks for a 39-year-old quarterback that's owed a ton of money. 2 first-round picks is a pretty good deal, I would say, for Green Bay. There's a lot of ways you could spin that. The Jets probably don't care about giving up that second first-round pick because that's probably going to be in the late 20s, and who cares about being in the late 20s if Aaron Rodgers takes the frickin' Jets to the AFC Championship game? Meanwhile, they don't give up their first round pick. They move down slightly. It's 2 spots. Let's calm down here for a second. And they get some extra late picks left, so you're not just completely clearing out the cupboard. I love this deal, but more importantly, Justin, I love the fact that Aaron Rodgers is going to play football for American dollars with the New York Jets. Who would have thought this was possible?
I muted my mic. I was so excited I muted my mic. Not me. Not me, man. I guess M does that. Didn't know that. Dude, I Jets fans deserve this. Like, I think more than anything, like this franchise, this organization, you just ran through all of the quarterbacks that the Jets, or not even all of them, honestly, probably half of them that the Jets have been through over the last decade. You left out guys like Matt Sims, like Christian Hackenberg, like Taj Boyd, like I just – all of the quarterbacks that this organization has run through, has tried and failed, they deserve this, man. Like the Jets fan base deserves this. This has been a miserable organization. Let's call a spade a spade. This has been a miserable organization for the better part of the last decade, if not the entirety of that decade, aside from 2015. Jets fans deserve this. Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I don't want to get into. I don't even care about the specifics right now. I don't even care about the potential red flags. Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He is an obvious future Hall of Famer, and he's going to be a quarterback for the New York Jets in 2023. That alone should have Jets fans excited. The Jets are legitimate Super Bowl contenders, as we've been saying for a while, if they got Aaron Rodgers, which, it seemed like it was a formality, and obviously it was going to happen. And in some ways, in that respect, maybe it feels a little anticlimactic because it's something we already knew was going to happen. But the fact that it's finally finalized, it's finally happened. I'm so happy. I was so happy I muted my mic at the beginning of this. I'm so happy, dude. In terms of the fairness of the trade, I agree. I think that both sides kind of got a little bit of what they wanted. The Jets were refusing to just straight up give up pick 13. They didn't do that. They ended up swapping 13 and 15. The Jets wanted some kind of conditions tied to that 2024 pick. They did. They didn't give up a straight up 2024 first round pick. They have conditions tied to it. From the Packers' perspective, they wanted those conditions, if they were to be tied to that 2024 pick, to not be necessarily team oriented or individual oriented. It's not based on Rodgers' stats. It's not based on, hey, if the Jets win the Super Bowl, they get a first. It's if Rodgers plays the majority of the year, they're getting a first round pick. That's a pretty good condition for the Green Bay Packers. They're likely to get a first round pick from this deal. And on top of that, the Jets were pushing hard for 2025 pick protection in the case that Aaron Rodgers doesn't play more than 1 year. They didn't get that. The Packers got their way with that. So I think both teams essentially get their way to an extent. It's a compromise, which is what we expected all along. And if you go back to January, we were saying on this very show, as were others, that it was likely going to be a 2023 second round pick, which it was, and a future conditional pick. Obviously, you swap 13 and 15 as well, but more or less, it's the deal we've been talking about for months now. And it took them until a few days before the draft to get it done, but it finally happened. I'm so glad as well, not only as a fan, but as someone who literally does this stuff for a living, that they did this trade before the draft, because, oh my God, if we were going into Thursday and Friday and they still hadn't done the trade, I was going to be so mad. I was going to be so mad. So I'm really happy that they got the trade done before the draft. And yeah, man, Aaron Rodgers is a New York Jet. It's incredible.
Aaron Rodgers is a New York Jet, and Joshua Kerr in chat is thrilled that this happened. As Joshua Kerr points out, I imagine the only happier days in my life that I'll have are my wedding and the birth of my child, maybe. Now,
maybe.
All right, I hope birth of your child is at least number 1, and wedding's probably going to be number 2. This is a firm contender for number 3. I mean, this is up there because I've had my doubts about Aaron Rodgers. I've had my annoyances with Aaron Rodgers. Like, that can all peel off. They might return later. Who knows how the season's going to go? I don't even want to look that far down the road. Let's just celebrate. Let's just enjoy the fact that Aaron Rodgers, who looked at all the teams out there who needed quarterbacks, and there were plenty, there still are plenty, and he said, get me the Jets. That is where I want to go. That is a watershed moment. How many other players of this ilk, forget quarterback, any position, are going to have done that recently? And Aaron Rodgers does it? I mean, because I think he saw what a lot of the optimistic Jets fans are also seeing, which is that this team has the pieces today to compete. Young team, the offensive line, all right, not amazing. That's a thing you can rework. That's a thing you can figure out how to upgrade. They got good backs. They got good receivers, stacked defense, coaching staff that everybody seems to like, GM that is held in high regard and well-respected, and just pulled off an incredibly complicated trade with a lot of moving parts and a lot of money being exchanged. This is a fantastic day. We can get into griping about some of the conditions on the pick later. That is for way down the road. Let's just celebrate. What's that song? Was it Rare Earth? I just want to celebrate. I think made that song.
Sure. Or just, celebrate. Isn't that Cool in the Gang? Celebrate. Isn't that
Cool in the Gang? Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Just play that, I mean, as royalty free version of
Walking on Sunshine.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, look, we're not blind to the potential red flags of this deal. Obviously, we've talked about them many times in the past, the potential red flags of trading for Aaron Rodgers. That's not the point of what we're doing right now. This is a live reaction. This is a live celebration. We are happy that Aaron Rodgers has been traded to the Jets. I love Breece Hall on Twitter. If you saw, he said his knees feeling a lot healthier now. Wonder why. They both, Breece Hall and Sauce Gardner, both changed their profile pics to a picture of Aaron Rodgers in his Cal uniform because, of course, he has announced, or it has been reported, that he's going to be wearing number 8. He's not going to be wearing number 12, so Joe Namath's number 12 stays retired. He's going back to the number he wore at Cal, which is number 8. Cool. You want to order your Aaron Rodgers jerseys? You want to pre-order them? Go for it right now because he's wearing number 8. You could just tell how excited. Like we saw this months ago when Aaron Rodgers, or a month ago, whatever it's been now, when Rodgers officially said that he wants to play for the New York Jets, when he made his intentions clear. You could tell how much this means to the players in the locker room. But now that it's officially official, it is finalized, it's happening. There are no more questions. It is happening. You just see the jubilation from the guys in that locker room. Big word. Breece Hall tweeting about it. Sauce Gardner tweeting about it. Garrett Wilson tweeting about it. These dudes, they grew up watching Aaron Rodgers. Some of them might have grown up idolizing Aaron Rodgers. See Zach Wilson, right? Now they share a locker room with this guy. They're going to go to war with this guy, and they're going to try and win a goddamn championship with this dude.
I want to comment on two things really quickly because I'm seeing a couple questions in the chat about restructuring the contract. According to Tom Pelissero, he is going to sign a revised contract that's going to make sure that Green Bay isn't burdened with a bajillion-dollar cap hit. So I'd imagine he's not going to saddle the Jets with a bajillion-dollar cap hit as part of this. I'm assuming that was part of, maybe that's what took so long, was just tinkering things around and figuring out the language of how to get this done without just sinking other teams' cap. I'd buy that. Here's another good way to frame the trade, because as a lot of people in chat are saying too, number 8 obviously was Elijah Moore's number. Elijah Moore gets traded to the Browns. In comes Aaron Rodgers. I feel like sometimes people, like, draft picks are important, but the idea of trading draft picks, especially like first and second round, sets off alarm bells. If before even the draft order was really finalized and we got further along in the process, if you said the Jets are going to trade for Aaron Rodgers, they're going to give up Elijah Moore instead of a second-round pick and all these other, I feel like that would have been less reactionary. That's essentially what they did. They got that second rounder for Elijah Moore. It was right next to the original one, and they flipped it for Aaron Rodgers. That's essentially what they did. That, I feel like if that was how it was framed originally, people would be saying, oh, what a great job of being a GM by Joe Douglas. And that's how I'm choosing to view it. I think this is one of Joe Douglas's best moves as a general man. Not one of his best. We got Aaron Rodgers. I'm saying in terms of just getting the Jets enough of an asset without sending too much in return. I thought he did a fantastic job in this deal, and he did it in a way that the Jets still have some flexibility. They can add pieces. They're obviously going to bring in some impact players in the draft class. The Jets are not done. I don't think. This is not the end of the Jets offseason. Finally, they got the biggest chess piece, the biggest puzzle piece into the equation, but I don't think this is the end. I think that Aaron Rodgers is probably going to coax a couple extra people to come to the Jets, which means, hey, more depth for the Jets. That's good.
Yeah, I think you said that best there. This is not the end of the Jets offseason. If anything, this is the beginning of the Jets offseason. We've been talking about it.
You had to do it, man.
It was
at the end, it's the beginning.
Like, oh man, I got a zinger. Ready?
Oh yeah.
But I genuinely mean that. Like, we've been saying this for weeks and months. This Jets offseason has been moving in slow freaking motion. And it's because this deal has been waiting in the wings to get done since March, since February. Like, that's how long these teams have been talking since January. And it's the end of April right now. And we're finally just talking about how this deal was done. So I really think that the Jets have a lot more moves in them. The Connor McGovern move, obviously, I feel like maybe has some ties to this, where they're like, all right, we're getting our quarterback. Now let's get a center. Like, we don't need to talk all about the Connor McGovern trade or the Connor McGovern re-signing, but I think that that's maybe part of it. But absolutely, like, the Jets offseason is far from over. I know I've seen a lot of people talking about how this offseason is kind of been a disappointment to this point, and it's been lukewarm. And it's like, none of it's going to matter if Aaron Rodgers works out. None of it's going to matter. None of what they gave up is going to matter if Aaron Rodgers works out. I know you're talking about this, this being the one of the best deals that Joe Douglas has made. I'll tell you this. This is the deal that will define his legacy as a general manager in the NFL. When people think of Joe Douglas, they're either going to think of him being a good general manager, a successful general manager because of the trade for Aaron Rodgers, or they're going to think of him being as a failure because the Aaron Rodgers trade didn't work out. Regardless of what happens, this trade will define his legacy. It'll define this current regime's legacy, because it's going to define Robert Saleh as well. This entire current core of the Jets. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers, you don't expect him to be here for 5-6 years, but it's the regime. This is their last chance. So this is either works and they're kept around for hopefully a new era, maybe after Aaron Rodgers, or it doesn't work and they're gone. So either way, this is going to define Joe Douglas's legacy. It's going to define Robert Saleh's legacy. In many ways, it could even define Woody Johnson's legacy, because clearly this is a Woody Johnson move. It's a Woody Johnson-oriented decision. So I'm very interested to see how it plays out, obviously, but I think we can sit here right now and confidently say the Jets are Super Bowl contenders. The Jets are contenders to win the AFC East in 2023. You take that shot, that 2023 second round pick you gave up, the 2024 conditional second round pick. Those aren't shots you could take where you can make the team a potential Super Bowl contender. The players you take at those spots aren't going to make you Super Bowl contenders. Aaron Rodgers does. We'll see if it works out, but they are contenders, and that's what matters.
Now, the Jets, by the way, too, good on Joe Douglas, because not every general manager honestly would have the stones to gamble with their legacy to that degree. So even if there are some general managers, if same team, same everything. Is John Idzik doing this move? Is Mike Tannenbaum doing this move? No.
John Idzik wouldn't even trade any of his picks. Like he couldn't even do that.
He wouldn't even do the Elijah Moore deal. He'd give up there. So no way. But so all of this hinges on Rodgers taking the Jets deep into the playoffs, possibly to the championship. Where do they stand? I think the Jets right now are probably in the conversation for the third or fourth best team in the AFC, which doesn't sound like as much of a ringing endorsement as some might expect, but just given all the great quarterbacks in the AFC, you're going to have to go through a freaking gauntlet. And you certainly weren't getting there with Zach Wilson, and you certainly aren't getting there with Ryan Tannehill, which I've heard discussed as the backup if this fell through. You just weren't doing it. Now, Kansas City, you know what? Tier all their own. Until somebody knocks them off, Patrick Mahomes, the Super Bowl is going to go through Kansas City. The AFC is going to go through Kansas City. You have to go worry about them. They're number one until proven otherwise. I think Cincinnati, 1-53 is better than the Jets right now. Plus, with Joe Burrow being Joe Burrow and getting better and better, I think they're a firm number two. After that, really up for debate. As we mentioned before, Buffalo is probably number three, but they are certainly not invincible. And whenever they get to the playoffs, it seems like all their cracks and their weaknesses really start to show. Baltimore, all right, Lamar Jackson probably coming back, but that's still a very flawed roster around Lamar Jackson. Can't get him any receivers. Save the life of him. Jacksonville, I think, is going to benefit from an easy division. I think Trevor Lawrence is amazing. I don't think that they're there yet. They might be in a year or two, but I don't think for 2023. Aaron Rodgers, I think, gives you a playoff floor with this Jets team. And I would not be surprised one bit if there was an AFC Championship game appearance, which for a team that hasn't even made the playoffs in 12 friggin' years, which is now the longest drought in American major professional sports after the Kings made the playoffs this year.
Shout out Sacramento Kings.
Shout out Sacramento, but now that you put us in the crossfire for that team, if Aaron Rodgers does it, he will be king of New York. Look at what Jalen Brunson's doing right now, where they haven't even won a playoff series. He will be the king of New York City if this happens, the way that the Jets think it'll happen.
Yeah, nothing touches winning in New York. If Aaron Rodgers finds success in New York, he will be revered forever. More revered, arguably, than he is in Green Bay, especially given how he only essentially, not to say only, but he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and they only won one championship in Green Bay. So if Aaron Rodgers can find success with the Jets, if he can lead them to even a championship game, let alone, the Super Bowl, right? He's going to be revered here. I'll say this too. I think it's an indisputable fact at this point. The AFC East is the best division of football. I don't think you can argue that. The Bills, Jets, and Dolphins, and even the Patriots, I think the Patriots are going to hover around 500 this year, or at least around that point, right? And they still have a good coach. That top three is no other division is touching that. And it sucks. Obviously, I'd rather the Jets be in the NFC South or something like that, right? Like, I think we can all agree with that.
Damn geography.
Right, I know, right? Well, even still, you got like the Colts in the AFC South. Doesn't make any sense, but I digress. I think the AFC East is clearly the best division in football. We talk about how stacked the AFC is in general. Even saying the Jets are third or fourth best team in the AFC, that's probably a top five team in the NFL if we're making that statement. Obviously, we'll see what happens. There's a degree of I don't know. I don't know what the Jets' floor is this year, right? Like, we don't got to talk about that. Like, if Aaron Rodgers bottoms out, but their ceiling is a Super Bowl. Like, that's for sure. Their ceiling is a Super Bowl. Their ceiling is winning the Super Bowl, not just being there. Their ceiling is winning the Super Bowl, because once you get to the playoffs, once you get to that point, and you throw in the fact that you have an elite quarterback, you can beat any team. Any team can win it. Of course, Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers, because Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback than every single quarterback in the NFL, maybe ever, right? Aaron Rodgers is still a great quarterback who can absolutely beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. And that's what you need. That's what the Jets wanted to do. They wanted to compete this year. They didn't want to just make the playoffs. They didn't want to just contend. They wanted to legitimately compete for a Super Bowl. They can do that now with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I'm seeing some tweets being a little apprehensive from Jets fans even.
Of course.
They gave up too much. It's like, if there's a time and place or for a franchise to be gung ho about getting a guy like if they didn't get him now, like when are they ever gonna make a move like this? This is what you got to do, man. Like I would rather even let's just say I know we're thinking happy thoughts. Let's just say some sort of nightmare scenario happens. At least you freaking went out on your shield and you went out guns blazing with Aaron Rodgers making a big move. I can respect that 1,000 times more than John Idzik Gordon picks. This is the way that a franchise. I hesitate to use this. This is the way that if you have an average football team, which is what the Jets were last year, they were mid record wise in a lot of different ways. Let's just call it what it is. And you want to improve quickly, this is the stuff you got to do. Don't just keep running it back. Don't just keep hoarding picks. Don't just keep trusting internal development's good, but don't just do that to just not sign free agents and suppress salaries and all that. Go and get a difference maker. It's not easy, but it's doable. And the Jets did it. And that's amazing because they never do things like this.
I'll tell you who's also happy that this trade happened now. NFL schedule makers.
Like oh my God. Yeah. The primetime games.
Yes. The Jets have not played on Sunday Night Football since 2012, I think, right? It's been over 10 years since the Jets have played on Sunday Night Football. That's changing this year. I don't have any.
No more Week 14 Thursday nights against AFC South teams.
Yep. I don't necessarily want this because I'd have to work Thanksgiving then, but give me the Packers or not the Packers. Give me the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, right? I think that's totally a possibility. Obviously, the Jets are already playing in the Hall of Fame game to start the preseason. I could see 4 or 5 primetime games on the Jets schedule. For sure. Honestly, at a like I think 5 is a maximum you can have. I think the Jets are going to be approaching Chiefs territory with how many primetime games they have this year. Not to mention, they're probably going to be on Hard Knocks. I think we could pretty safely say that they are going to be on Hard Knocks now. And oh my God, is that going to be entertaining? Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Don't
ask Aaron Rodgers who he's voting for.
There'll be some interesting Rodgers quotes. We'll see what they air. We'll see what they air. But yeah, man, I know schedule makers are happy. This is everything the Jets fans have wanted for a long time. They're going to be the talk of the NFL this year, maybe for better or worse. We'll see. But they're not going to be boring. They're not going to be second, the little brother to the Giants. That's gone. Like that's not going to happen. They're going to be one of the most high-profile teams in the NFL this year. This is going to be the most high-profile the Jets have been since those Rex Ryan days. Jets fans have wanted a competitive team. They've wanted a team that can contend for a Super Bowl. They've wanted to not be overlooked. That's not happening anymore. They're not going to be overlooked. They will be the talk of the NFL. Hopefully it leads to wins. That's all we can hope.
See, here that's the other thing you brought up too. Like imagine if Aaron Rodgers trade doesn't happen or didn't happen. And the Jets trust their defense and they get like a Ryan Tannehill, Jimmy Garoppolo guy, and they sign maybe a receiver slightly better than Mecole Hardman in addition to Lazard, and then they went, all right, we're running it back. Is that not the most milquetoast attempt to win a division title ever? Like this team needed a system shock. They need to show the league that it's not. I know we hear same old Jets a lot. If there's some tomfoolery that happens at same old Jets, then that just the fates have decreed it. This is a move that shows, you know what? We're not going to penny pinch. We're not going to go into these ridiculous harebrained ideas of how to build a team. We are making the biggest offseason acquisition. Aaron Rodgers is going to be our quarterback. That is a major profile shift for the Jets in a way that I can't really remember. Like, how many other teams very quickly went from dregs of the league like a couple years ago and then kaboom?
Probably the Bucks is immediately what comes to mind.
Tampa, Kansas City. And you know what? It worked.
It did.
The post-Tim Tebow era, when they got Peyton Manning, it worked for Denver. Now, I don't know if it'll work for Aaron Rodgers. I think it will. I don't want to make any declarations, but I can't imagine. I know Jets fans have this weird masochistic streak, and they love some of them. This miserable team like Benigno, the pain, bro, and I get it.
It's fair. Like if you've been
but like you can't. I'm not going to listen to them today. I can't find a way to look at this trade and view it in a negative light. That's just bad for your health. You got to be out in the streets singing "Kumbaya" and "Zippity Doodah" and all kinds of stuff. This is a terrific day for the Jets.
It is the minute the second that trade went through, and I saw the tweet. First of all, I immediately was like, because I got the tweet notification from Schefter, and I was like, okay, like, or for a sec I was like, is this really Adam Schefter? My initial thought was that because
with the Elon thing, I honestly thought that it was like somebody hacked him. I'm not even kidding.
I saw it. I clicked his profile, and I'm like, okay, this is Schefter. And then I went back, and it took a couple seconds for it to actually process that it happened, but it didn't. It fully processed once my phone just started blowing up by people messaging me. Jets fans are excited, and they should be excited. You're absolutely right. There's a time and place for actual criticism and being like, being down on the Jets, right? They have done so many things over the last decade that warrant that. Now is not that time. Now is not that time. Let's celebrate. Let's be happy. I want to talk about other potential ramifications maybe from this deal, right? I think one of the first things that I thought of as well when I was looking at the trade compensation was, no players involved. No Corey Davis. No Corey Davis. I have been thinking since January that he was going to be involved in this trade. Even after reports have come out in the last few weeks or months or whatever it's been, that saying, no, the Jets might keep Corey Davis. He's not going to be part of that deal. I still didn't believe it. I was like, he's probably still going to be a part of that trade. First of all, yeah, let's call out that comment there from Eileen on YouTube. She says, I've been a fan for 54 years. I will not listen to any negativity or same old Jets crap. I'm excited. You should be excited, Eileen.
That is the way. We are with you, Eileen. That is the way to behave.
This is a great Monday. Celebrate your Monday. This is an amazing day for the Jets. It's an amazing day for Jets fans. But yeah, Corey Davis, not part of that deal. Now, the Jets are going to have to make some financial moves. This is why I was kind of saying, like, the offseason kind of begins now, because they're not going to be able to fit Aaron Rodgers' salary. It's not going to be a huge cap hit, but they're not going to be able to fit it with what they currently have. So maybe they still end up releasing Corey Davis. Maybe we see them announce the restructure for CJ Mosley. Maybe they extend or restructure or rework Carl Lawson's deal. Obviously, they just re-signed Connor McGovern, so that's going to eat into whatever remaining cap space they have. I think I don't know if it's set in stone, but the number that I've been working with for a while has been 15-something million would be what Rodgers' cap hit would be if he was traded. Now, they can rework the deal. They might find ways to lower that deal or lower that cap hit. Either way, they're not going to be able to currently fit him on the roster and sign their draft picks and make any other moves. So other moves are coming. Maybe they end up releasing Corey Davis. He wasn't part of the trade. Maybe they wait until after the draft. I don't know. But other moves are definitely coming, and I thought that was an interesting thing to note.
I think it would definitely be Corey Davis. Like, for as much as I think the guy kind of got a raw deal and kind of got put in a bad role, like, he was a number 2 receiver in Tennessee, and then you bring him to New York and expect him to be a number 1 receiver. I mean, this is the cost of doing business, man. He can't keep everybody, and I think he just has to go for Aaron Rodgers. I also think for the draft, this presents a couple interesting opportunities for the Jets, one of which involves a trade, one in which doesn't. Because at 15, I think even before this deal got finalized, it was looking like it's going to be an offensive tackle. Now, we've gone in about the validity of that, even though they're probably not going to start day one because of Dwayne Brown and Mekhi Becton on either side. Looking at this, I feel like now there's just more of a commitment after re-signing McGovern to like, let's just keep this old man upright for as much as possible. So I think now they can still get one of their best guys at 15, even though New England at 14 might take a lineman. They really didn't move down. They didn't go down to like 30 at this point. Mm-hmm. However, if the Jets are operating as if they're a Super Bowl contender and they go, well, we don't have any super pressing needs. I mean, the offensive line could get better. We could use more defensive line depth, but it's not like we're 30th or 31st or 32nd in the league in anything. Why don't we just trade down to somewhere in like the mid-20s, early 20s, and then recoup some of the Aaron Rodgers trade package and maybe like a mid-round pick? I think that because not only does that restock your draft pick cupboards, because right now they only have, I think we talked before the show, like 5 picks?
Yep, just 5. That's it.
Just 5. So maybe you end up moving to get 6 or 7. That's a good way for Joe Douglas, who's apparently an amazing drafter. I think he's not amazing. I think he's a very good drafter and knocked it out of the park last year. That's the way I think that he could go about getting secondary pieces to help Aaron Rodgers out. Would be a nice trade down. And they're in a good position for that now.
That's definitely my biggest draft takeaway from this, is that I strongly believe the Jets are going to trade down, whether it's in the first round or second round. I think they're going to trade down with one of those picks because they now pick at 15, 43, and then they don't have another pick until 112. And then that's it. They have 112, 143, 170. So they have 1 pick in round 4, 2 picks in round 5, and then those top 2, top 50 picks. That's it. I think given the way that the Jets roster is constructed right now, and that they still have some pieces, some holes to plug, the best way to plug holes for cheap is the draft. When you're tight against the cap, you'll see that with a team like the Rams. They're going to draft a bunch this year. They're going to draft so many players because they literally just need to fill out their roster. I don't think the Jets are in as dire of a situation as the Rams, but they're going to be in a similar situation in the sense that I think that they want to fill as many of those holes as possible, whether they're starting roles or not, with potential guys on rookie deals. And so I think that's likely. I think we're likely to see them potentially trade down. Maybe it's in the first round. I do think now being at 15, you're less likely to get a guy like Paris Johnson, who is my favorite target. I'm not sure he gets out of the top 10, and I don't think they're gonna move up for him. I don't think they're gonna trade up at this point because they don't really have.
I saw a rumor Arizona wants him at 3. I mean, I think that dream is well and truly dead.
Right, yeah, and so he's been my favorite target for a while, but I definitely don't think they have the luxury of trading up at this point. And maybe someone like Peter Skoronski is there at 15. Maybe. Apparently, the Jets do see him as a tackle, according to Dane Brugler of The Athletic. So that's an interesting note. If they want to bring in Skoronski, they can play him at tackle. They can even move him. Brugler even mentioned they could potentially play him at center. Obviously, now with Connor McGovern, not necessarily as big of a need, but he has that versatility, as does Paris Johnson, that maybe someone like Broderick Jones doesn't. Maybe, we'll talk about this more on Wednesday when we get into our full draft special. But maybe someone like Darnell Wright is absolutely in play for the Jets now, because if they move down if they move down at all from 15, they move into the early 20s, Darnell Wright might still be there. And that's somebody who can step in as an immediate plug and play right tackle. You can have Mekhi Becton and Dwayne Brown compete at left tackle. I'd be all for that. But I definitely think trading down makes a lot of sense. It's going to be really interesting doing Jets mock drafts for these last few days and seeing what they do. I wish they made this move earlier because I have so many ideas of different scenarios they can explore, and now we'll get a few days to do it. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see the fallout from this.
Well, here's one good piece of fallout. Sounds like an oxymoron because fallout oftentimes can mean things that aren't great. But here's a good takeaway, or something that Jets fans, when they put their head on their pillow tonight, can dream about and just say, you know what? It's good to be a Jets fan. Aaron Rodgers. All right, he took a step back. Be quiet. Still an above-average quarterback, well above average, still capable of winning a championship with the right pieces around him. He's now in an environment that's more conducive to getting free agents than Green Bay. More likely, I think, to go to New York than Green Bay. Sorry, Wisconsin. Weather's a little better here. That's about it. But that's not the only thing, rather. Aaron Rodgers came to the New York Jets. Think about it. It sounds like something that would be an Onion article. Oh, Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. Haha. It happened. It happened. And this is a glorious day. It may crash and burn. At this point, I really don't care. Aaron Rodgers traded to the New York Jets in a move that makes them a Super Bowl contender for the first time in over a decade. Maybe I'm personalizing it. All of high school, all of college, they did nothing. Not one thing. And now, finally, Aaron Rodgers gives him a chance to finally hoist that Lombardi trophy for the second time in franchise history. Justin, I'm thrilled.
I couldn't have said it better myself, man. From Zach Wilson to Sam Darnold to Geno Smith to Josh McCown to
Christian Hackenberg
to Bryce Petty, all these guys, right? It's all led us to Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. A future Hall of Famer, is the quarterback of the New York Jets in the year 2023. It's going to be an exciting year. It promises to be anything but boring, I'll tell you that. And I'm thrilled. I cannot wait for this season. Genuinely, I probably not it's kind of setting in now. I can't remember the last time I was this excited about a Jets season. I don't know about you, Mike, but I cannot remember the last time.
Over 10 years.
At least, yeah.
Rex Ryan era.
Yeah. Honestly, 2016, I was pretty excited because I was like, oh, man, look what they did in 2015.
See, I didn't even with that because I just had that same old Jets mentality of because it was Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm like, all right, something's got to go wrong. There's no way.
And the whole Fitz saga dragged out too. And that, honestly, that's the last QB saga that is dragged out. And now was that the year Geno Smith got punched, or was that the year before that? Yeah, that was 2016. That was 2016. I think it was 2016. Oh no, that was the year. No, that was the year he tore the ACL. 2015.
Oh yeah.
2016 is when he tore the ACL.
But now we could finally erase those thoughts and just think about Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Wearing Jets green. Now, If you want to hear analysis of the Jets season, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever it is that you get your podcast. And you can also head over to YouTube at the Jet Press. You get all of our podcasts there. You get all of our YouTube shorts there. You get our whole back catalog of prospect interviews that Justin has been doing with guys like Brady Kipper and Jarek Bernard-Converse. I believe Kobe Turner from Wake Forest is up there now. We got a fully jam-packed, loaded content platter, smorgasbord for you over there. Justin, you will have the final word after Aaron Rodgers gets traded to the Jets finally.
I love hearing you say that, man. I love it. I love hearing you say that. Yeah, absolutely. Everything Mike just said. Check us out on YouTube. Check out that stuff. We'll be back on Wednesday. Probably doing some big draft special, maybe some mock draft, maybe some big board, whatever. We're gonna be talking everything draft in just a couple of days' time. But thank you all for joining us on this impromptu Monday show today. You can follow Mike on Twitter at by Mike Luciano. You can follow me on Twitter at Justin T. Fried. Follow the Jet Press on Twitter at the Jet Press. You can download the Jet Press podcast wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Overcast, all that stuff. Also, yeah, like Mike said, check us out on YouTube. Subscribe, like, hit that notification bell. We got a bunch of really fun prospect interviews up there and an interview with Thomas Morstead that's up. You guys know what to do. Check that all out. We stream live normally every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you all for listening to the Jet Press podcast. Aaron Rodgers is a New York Jet, and I've been Justin Fried. That's been Mike Luciano. We'll see you guys next time.
We will discuss some more Aaron Rodgers Jets content. That it just feels great to say. See you guys on Wednesday.